isn't super important, but I thought it might be fun since we have these labels and their values. They're all just appended to the LI, but there's more list types than just unordered list and ordered list. There's also a DL. Has anyone ever used a DL before? That's a description list. It used to be called a definition list, but in HTML5 they kind of redefined it because that's how people really used it. So let's look it up. HTML description list. Yay. And, okay, W3 Schools explains. Let's look at MDN. HTML DL element represents a description list. The element encloses a list of groups of terms and descriptions. Common uses for this element are to implement a glossary or to display metadata, a list of key value pairs. Hey, we're printing a list of key value pairs, aren't we? So, if you look at their examples, you have a DL, and inside there you have some DTs and some DDs. The T for term, the D for description. So, what we want in the end, and again, you don't need to write this down. You don't need to write any of this down, really. We want it to look something like this. DD for description. Right, that's the idea. Now, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to add each pair of these things, inside an LI. You don't have to do that. Most of the examples do not do that, but there's also nothing wrong with doing that. That way it's just a little easier to build it the way that we've written these functions. So that's the output I want now. Not too tough. So inside handle, well, heck, yeah. Handle submit, we do not need to change one letter, do we? The fact that it's a totally different kind of list doesn't matter. Render list can worry about that. That is not handle submit's problem. Another advantage of breaking this out into separate functions. It's a lot easier to refactor later or to change things. So render list now creates a DL instead of a UL. And that's it. That's the only change inside render list. But we're building the list items a little differently now, right? So what we're doing now, we're creating the LI, but then we're also creating a DT, the term, and then that's going to have the text content of the label. And then the value is going to go inside the DD, which is a description. So we create the DD element, and then we append the value to that. And again, we use our try catch because it may be a string or it may be an element. Then we append both of those things to the LI, and then we return that. Piece of cake. Now, this thing is still really ugly, and this is going to make it even uglier. But the nice thing is, if we just see what this looks like now, it's pretty ghastly. But the nice thing about having these DTs and DDs there is it is really easy to target with CSS without having to add a bunch of classes everywhere. So that's what I do in the next couple of steps. So we'll look at that in just a moment.